Good morning, everybody, and welcome. And yes, these are on, which is a good start. Now, I will start by warning you that I am suffering with a terrible cough and cold, but I have checked the backdrop, and it is all secure. I did consider whether or not I should have some ABBA music, maybe just to grandify my entrance a little bit and distract you from this cough, but I thought a little bit better of it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a new era for major projects. Building a road is a political act. It's the promise of a public commitment for a route announcement, for a start of works date and an open for traffic date. The commitment to a level of public expenditure, public money, and the commitment to a scope that meets the needs of our customers and of our stakeholders. Throughout this presentation, we're going to talk about how we're developing major projects to meet and exceed, hopefully, the needs and expectations of our industry in the future, embracing technology and enhancing our capability in key areas such as sponsorship and benefits management. But as we evolve our organisation, it's incredibly important we must never lose sight of the alignment to the basic and most important need to meet time, cost and scope commitments scheme by scheme. And so, over the course of this 20-minute presentation, we will cover quite a bit of ground. But everything really that I'm going to be talking about leads back to three very simple things. The first is safer projects. The second is better projects for our customers. And the third is improved delivery, time, cost and scope. All we do in major projects now and in the future seeks to continuously make us better at these three things, and I shall return to them at the end of this presentation. And so it's a new era for major projects. I think we are ideally positioned to capitalise on the work done during the course of RIS1 and so to set new standards as we rise to the challenge of RIS2 as the leading intelligent client organisation, commercially astute. It also goes without saying, and I'm very pleased that there are, I think, one or two members of my team here, but I'm very proud of the work that we've delivered so far in RIS1 through our programme of work. With the support, of course, from our supply chain partners, we're well underway to deliver upon the commitments we set out in the first road investment strategy. From 2015 to 2020, our investment is increasing each year from £450 million to £3 billion. From 2015 to 2020, the number of projects we deliver has grown from 22 to 112, beg your pardon. And now, of course, confirmed from 2020 onwards, our capital investment will increase by 40%, rising to £25.3 billion of investment for the strategic road network. These have been big changes for us, but we remain on track to deliver against our commitments in RIS1 within our funding envelope and delivering the new and renewed assets that make our network more reliable, safer and smoother. And so we are building the smart motorway spine of the network, enhancing capability between our major cities through a stable, continued smart motorway programme. We are, of course, transforming our regional programmes to deliver the regional needs of our country, making the difference locally and regionally where it matters. We are undertaking transformational investments, implementing the next generation of flagship programme schemes, such as the A14 on site currently, the A303 at Stonehenge, Lower Thames Crossing. We are working with our partners in organisations such as High Speed 2 and Heathrow Airport Limited to develop our major projects in the national interest, where there are important dependencies between what they and we are doing. We are delivering a balanced road investment programme, ensuring sufficient funding for medium-sized schemes, for example, junction and capacity improvements, and a renewed focus on small schemes, ensuring dedicated funding for small regional schemes to address safety and congestion hotspots. And of course, there is so much more. We want to provide better information for the road users to give the real-time information that they increasingly expect. During Road Period 2, we want to continue to proactively disseminate real-time information directly to connected vehicles or via notifications to partner apps. We would also like to provide integrated travel information with public transport services, helping people to make better choices on how and when to travel. This cross-modal information will also ensure mobility as a service. In order to collaborate with and deliver information to users through third parties, we will increasingly need to improve our IT to make sure we interface effectively and quickly, going further and further to connect the country. We want our road users to experience more reliable and seamless journeys, reduce duration of roadworks to minimise disruption. To improve our level of service in line with rising public expectations for a safe and reliable journey, we need to have the right resources. Innovation in the way that we work and investment in new technologies across our network, and in particular in our Smart Motorway programme, which I will be returning to in a short while. We recognise that our network is operating in a world of rapidly changing technology, with innovations such as the Internet of Things becoming more and more prevalent. We want to maximise the use of data and analytics to improve our management of the network. The Internet of Things is a giant network of things connected to each other, able to collect and exchange data through smartphones, computers, sensors, building management systems, etc. The list goes on. I'll imagine you are driving to a meeting. If your car's sat-nav has access to your calendar, it can tell you the best route to take to arrive on time. If you're delayed en route, your car could send a text message to attendees to let them know you're late. This will be the power of the Internet of Things. And of course, the time is now to prepare for connected and driverless vehicles. And so a little bit to my focus. So the increasing complexity and the size of the major projects portfolios means that we're delivering more change than ever before. Increasing investment presents us with a new, unique opportunity, and I personally want major projects to be a client of choice, an employer of choice, and to be leading best practice in the design and delivery of major infrastructure projects. It's a great opportunity and exciting challenge for us in major projects. To meet it, we need to build further capability within our organisation and through our supply chain, whilst maintaining our strong focus on safety, customer and delivery. I believe that we can rise to this challenge, and I want us to become recognised as industry leaders. We've started putting in the building blocks to achieve this ambitious plan, and we're further positioning ourselves to achieve success in the future. Now, on to some of our programme areas within major projects. And I'm going to talk a little bit now about our regional investment programme and, of course, the very recently announced Regional Delivery Partnership Framework announced earlier this week. I'm going to provide a little bit of detail in terms of what I see as the key features of this new programme, but I think very simply for me, at the heart of this, it really represents a shift from what I would call a cost-led relationship with the supply chain to one which will fundamentally be a performance-led relationship with our supply chain partners going forward. So back in 2018, we released details of this new type of contract, the Regional Delivery Partnership, the future for major projects, England's motorways and A-roads. The total, of course, of £9 billion worth of work to deliver the regional investment programme launched with the supply chain to bid for at that time. So this new model will help us modernise, maintain and operate the strategic road network, having been developed, of course, as part of the broader routes to market work that we're delivering across the business, creating new vehicles for delivery, not just here in the regional programme, but of course in the coming months through our Smart Motorway programme as well. So it builds upon the success of its predecessor, the Collaborative Delivery Framework, CDF, which reached its headline value earlier on this year. And we hope it also very much takes on board feedback from the supply chain, supporting the allocation of work as we transition, of course, from this first control period into the next one. So some key features of the model. Continuity of work. Listening to the supply chain and engaging with the supply chain over recent years, we understand how important it is to provide that pipeline, to provide that assurance of continuity of work. And so by awarding £4 billion worth of schemes in 2018, rather than on an individual scheme-by-scheme basis, we hope that that provides the long-term certainty for the market, providing the foundation for investment and, of course, increased productivity. There will be regional delivery teams composed of technical advisors, delivery integration partners, of course, now announced, and the client, the network owner, us. Each region will be focused on delivering integrated project solutions. We will have centres of excellence, national, regional and sustainable improvement centres of excellence, established so that all partners can work together to drive the regional efficiencies and performance through supply chain integration, harnessing the innovation, long-term skills strategies of all integrated partners together. There will be a very clear performance framework. The measurement of performance will be devised to reflect the desire for objective, data-driven performance scoring. And of course, key to this, future packages of schemes will be allocated by applying the process set out in the procurement documents regarding performance. Commercial framework will be linked to performance. As I say, RDP is designed to reward suppliers aligned to Highways England's objectives and improving benefits against the investment baseline. On that particular point, I think Jim, in his presentation yesterday, talked about how this framework will better enable better performance for our customers. And this is the mechanism through which that will be enabled to happen, because we will be very much sharing our objectives, which of course include safety, customer and delivery objectives. And as I say, sharing those with the delivery integration partners. Future success for all DIPs in the future will be predicated on their ability to meet those shared objectives with us. There will be a streamlined procurement procedure. We've reduced the acquisition cost burden to the market by introducing a three-stage selection process that focuses on key areas of importance to Highways England. And just as a quick plug, I suppose, prior to this role, which I started a year ago, I worked exclusively in consultancy throughout my career, and I spent quite a bit of time in this country and others advising clients in this sort of area around business improvement, around improved procurement and commercial models. And I think that this model that our team have devised and now stood up is genuinely industry leading, and I very hope also industry disrupting. And for those team members that are here, maybe one or two, I will take this opportunity to thank everybody for their incredible hard work that has gone into this over an awful long period of time to bring this about. So a thank you to all of my team. Smart motorways. So our smart motorway network has and will continue to contribute significantly to the way that the strategic road network operates. On the core of our motorway network, this means deploying world-leading technology to smooth journeys and open up additional capacity. The smart motorway rollout will continue, of course, supporting our biggest cities and increasingly linking them to one another. By the end of the second roads period, there will be a continuous smart motorway corridor linking London, Leeds, Manchester and Birmingham, offering reliable and consistent level of service to motorists. We will move to a modularised approach, or a modulation approach, whichever term you prefer, to deliver and to be at the forefront of innovative ways of working. Of course, we can't do this on our own, and we are moving to an alliance come 2020 to deliver this. We will be focused on predictable delivery, laying the foundations for projects predictably across 25 partners. Integration, 5 or 6 long-term alliance partners with aligned interests, with long-term certainty incentivised mechanisms in place for those partners. Programme delivery, a mutual understanding, increasingly informing decision-making. Talent is developed and retained, and resources are shared on the best for task basis within the alliance and across the partners who will be participating. It will be an enterprise-level model, an enterprise with trust-based decision-making reaching throughout the supply chain, enterprise delivering innovative solutions across the whole life cycle. Just in terms of where we are and some of the next steps regarding this alliance, the suppliers questionnaire will be issued in autumn of this year. We are, of course, in autumn, and so shortly. The contract award is planned for autumn of 2019. We seek to mobilise between autumn 2019 and spring 2020, and of course, in preparation for the start of new RIS, to mobilise our new alliance. I think it's probably also worthwhile saying and making the point that in the development of this alliance and the ongoing development of this alliance, we've been working very closely with industry and with industry best practice, and in particular with Project 13 and with the Infrastructure Client Group, which have incredibly helped to shape our thinking with regard to this alliance now and of course over the months ahead. And I hope also we have contributed something to the ongoing thinking within Project 13. So I genuinely believe that through this alliance, we will take the opportunity to show the industry what technology-led engineering and construction really is and is really capable of. And I want our supply chain, both new entrants and existing, to disrupt us and disrupt the industry. I think for too long we have lagged behind, and this is hopefully the space that we are creating at Highways England to put that right. Moving on to our complex infrastructure programme, and three projects which I will touch on reasonably briefly. These are, of course, our shop window, if you will, for major projects within Highways England. And I'll just, as I say, give you a quick overview of the three schemes within that programme. So Lower Thames Crossing, of course, has now moved into its consultation phase, and we are reforming our team and our operating model to put that project ever closer to a delivery footing as we make progress. We have been learning from other major projects across the industry, and I think we are taking a mature approach to risk as we develop that project towards going to market, seeking an equitable deal for all parties during the complex delivery of what will become, of course, one of the world's biggest tunnels, now, of course, to be wholly publicly funded. On the A14, I am very proud to say, and I think it is factually accurate, so please don't pick me up if it's not, but I think we are the single £1 billion plus scheme in the infrastructure sector in England, if not the UK at the moment, that is currently, and dare I say it, will continue to be delivered to time and to budget. A fantastic project, a fantastic achievement thus far by all involved, and I'm sure that will continue as we head to completion over the next year or so. The A303 Stonehenge, of course, a globally interesting project. DCO, of course, was now recently submitted, marking a huge milestone and a huge step forward for the hard work that continues to be done on that project. And I can also confirm today that we have chosen to add a fourth project to our complex infrastructure programme, the A428 Black Cat to Caxton Gibbet project, which is a Tier 1 scheme in the East region, will be moving across in the new year into our complex infrastructure programme from our regional investment programme. But this will be, of course, procured through our regional delivery partnerships model, which I think for me is a huge vote of confidence in the robustness of the RDP framework and its ability to deliver the biggest and the most complex schemes. And it would be slightly remiss of me to not also confirm that as well as Lower Thames Crossing, the A303 will of course now be wholly publicly funded. So a little bit about our national infrastructure programme. You can see on there the proposed third runway for Heathrow, and you can also see some of the touch points between our network and of course the proposed High Speed 2 railway line. So picking on High Speed 2 first, not picking on them, but touching on that first. High Speed 2 project, of course, has potential to directly, well, more than potential, it will directly impact on the strategic road network, and phase one of the scheme will result inevitably in more traffic on the strategic road network. HS2 will also cross the network in 19 points, and the construction of these crossings will require lane closures and, of course, traffic management. And so we are working very closely with our partners in High Speed 2 to mitigate any congestion that the construction of HS2 may create and limit the disruption to the road users as much as possible as that work progresses. Over to Heathrow. The government, of course, through the Airports Commission, has identified Heathrow as the preferred location for new runway capacity in the southeast, and this will mean an extended airfield stretching over the M25. So Highways England, again, are working closely with our partners at Heathrow to provide guidance and advice to make sure that we protect the long-term interests of the strategic road network. But as well as working with our national infrastructure partners within this programme, we also develop some of our long-term strategic studies for the major projects of the future, and I'll just touch on three of those. Oxford to Cambridge, of course, recently announced its preferred corridor. This project is currently in stage one. The project will link the M4 to the M1, travelling through the economic heartland of England. The initial phase will focus on the missing link between Oxford and the M1 and routes around Oxford. Start of work is planned for 2024 and open for traffic is planned for 2030. Secondly, the A66 Northern Transpennine Route dualling project, currently again in stage one. There are planned works on the A66 between Penrith, Cumbria and Scotch Corner and Penrith. The plans are to change the single carriageways into dual carriageways. The work, again, is expected to start in autumn 2023 and complete by summer 2028. And thirdly, Manchester North West Quadrant. This project, again, is in stage 1 and is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a transformational package of interventions designed to alleviate the congestion suffered along the northwest quadrant of the M60 and support the growth and aspirations of transport for the north and to support the Northern Powerhouse agenda. So just a little bit around how we've been developing our capability over the course of the last few years to meet this rising demand and this rising challenge. And you can see here from this diagram, we've been working across these 8 key areas of our business to build capacity and, of course, to build capability. And so just taking a few key areas in turn, we have chosen to wed ourselves to the P3M3 maturity model as a way of assessing our capability development in the areas of portfolio, program and project management. We recently had our interim assessment confirmed ahead of the final completion of that work in summer next year, and that interim assessment confirms that we are very much on track to build the client capability that we need to deliver these challenges. We've also been working hard and delivering investment into integrated controls solutions in the areas of risk, scheduling, and broader controls management, both at project level, program level, and at portfolio level with the establishment of a new portfolio office. We have been growing capacity. We have added 500 people organically to our major projects business over the course of the last 3 years, and we continue to invest significantly in the development of our people. So as we look ahead to RIS 2, our ambitions continue, of course, but I think that we will be looking at new areas for development that go beyond the work that we've been doing over the last few years or so. And so what I've set out here are the 5 strategic priority areas for major projects at Highways England during the course of RIS 2. And I shall just take them simply in turn. We are seeking significant productivity gains in the way in which we initiate and deliver our major projects. We are seeking to maximise the opportunity presented through off-site manufacturing, modular components, and the design and use of production hubs, not least within our Smart Motorways programme, but actually uniformly across all that we do. Capable owner, a term that some of you may recognise from elsewhere, and one that we have unashamedly used here as well. We recognise the importance of being a good client. It is a role that needs to be delivered well, as much as the roles that get delivered within our supply chain. And I'm incredibly passionate to make sure that we understand our role, that we develop the capacity, skills, the diversity, and the clarity of operating model that is needed to make these programs a success. Commercial and efficiency, commercial know-how and clear imperative alignment. We will be investing significantly in our people to make sure that we continue to have that commercial competency that's needed to make these programs a success. Regarding the digital agenda, we want to make sure that we capitalise on the work that's been done in recent years to capture the advantage of the digital technology capability both in the design and the construction of our projects. And then the 5th point is our customer experience transformation. Touching back on some of the earlier points made regarding connected and automated vehicles and the advancement of technology onto our digital roads of the future, we should fully expect that we are able to transform the customer experience of our major projects as they are in construction, as they go into operation. And so therefore our objectives in RIS 2 are a reduction in real-term costs. I believe that we can reduce them by 15% over that term, including significant reductions in the life cycle for both the design and the delivery of our projects. I want all Highways England major projects using modular and off-site components. And thirdly, for all projects to be digitally created, both in the design, through controls and into delivery, including digital twin projects for each of our projects before they move into construction as they do. And so we are moving very much to an enterprise model for delivery, aligning ourselves to the way that government is moving and delivering in a way that is unprecedented. It will be based on a collaborative and integrated team brought together from across partners and owners to deliver a programme and project. Shared goals aligned directly with customer and project outcomes, underpinned by a commitment to key working principles and trust-based relationships, an emphasis on creating the right culture and behaviours, strong collective and unanimous leadership. But of course, our imperatives remain the same: safety, customer and delivery, but our working way is set to evolve. Project commitments will remain at the centre of what we do, but as we rise to the challenge of RIS2, achieving time... That sounds like a great presentation. Achieving delivery to time, on schedule and to scope will mean embracing the opportunities presented through safer delivery, better customer outcomes, new people and technology capabilities, an aligned and integrated supply chain combined with a focus on commercial, productivity and efficiency outcomes. And in this way, everything that you've heard from the last 20 minutes is done and will continue to be done to make our projects safer, as I say, enhance our customer experience and improve delivery performance. These are our imperatives. This is our alignment to the business. So I believe that we are the quiet, capable deliverer, making it happen with clear imperatives and values guiding us all the way. So I invite you all to join us, to work with us to complete the successful execution of RIS1 and deliver the change and the ongoing improvements needed to achieve the next level of performance in RIS2. It's an exciting time for Highways England, and together we will achieve for our customer the safer, smoother and more reliable journey that this country needs. Thank you. I think we may have one.
Hi, Peter. Glenn
Hello.
Blackmore from Skanska.
Hi, Glenn.
You mentioned Holy provided public funding to Lower Thames and A303. We've also heard rumours about PPP.
Yep.
Does that mean PPP is not on the table and wholly funded by?
With regards to those two projects, we will be delivering them on the basis of public funding.
Just really on customer satisfaction, we're going to be doing more and more stuff over the next 5 or 6 years. Clearly customer satisfaction is one of our fundamental KPIs. How challenging do you think it's going to get for us and for the industry to continue to achieve those customer satisfaction numbers when there's going to be ever more stuff out there actually being built?
I think you're right. It is going to be very challenging, is the very obvious answer to your question, because there is, of course, a direct correlation between the amount of roadworks that people are experiencing and their satisfaction with the use of the road. And so, we know that to be true. That said, I think we are increasingly becoming more aware of how we can improve that experience for customers. So we've been talking a lot recently about the move to 60 miles an hour through roadworks. We've been talking a lot about how, by giving people better information earlier, both in terms of advanced warning of roadworks, but also the quality of the information that they get as they experience roadworks. One of the things that always strikes me is that as a car user, you may well be travelling through roadworks at, let's say, 50 miles per hour, and you may feel huge frustration because you are associating being at 50 miles an hour with, of course, the roadworks that you are passing through. Now, of course, it probably is the reality that the reason why we are there doing that project is because that road has been utterly congested, probably for the last generation, and you were probably sat at 50 miles an hour or worse in any case. So I think there is a real opportunity to do a few things. Firstly, really challenge ourselves and partners on some of the baked-in assumptions that we've worked with for an awful long time, such as the move to 60 miles an hour, and to get that rolled out where it is safe to do so on our projects of the future. I think to give our customer much better information earlier around the work that we're planning to do, but then crucially, as motorists travel through the roadworks, give them much richer, better quality information about the experience that they're having. I think that we have been hesitant in the past to give too much information, but I think most people actually appreciate it. The vast majority of people do appreciate this work needs to be done. They do appreciate the long-term benefit that this will deliver, but they want to be treated as adults, and they want to have a proper conversation with us around what we're doing and why we're doing it. So I think there's a huge opportunity to make improvements there.
Hi, Peter. Mark Goodger from Hydro International. Interested to hear about those regional development partnerships and saw the announcement earlier in the week in terms of the top tier consultants and contractors involved in those. how do you see that partnership approach cascading down, lower down the supply chain to suppliers and tier two authorities? Is that
Yep.
contractor-led? Is that Highways England partnership-led?
It is a bit of both. I mean, the first thing I would say is that if our tier one organisations fail to cascade the core principles and ways of working that we've sought to establish through RDP into their supply chain, then the whole thing doesn't work. So my view is that it will become very obvious very quickly if that isn't happening. And because we have complete transparency of those performance criteria and the data that we use to check how we are doing against those performance criteria, as I say, I think it would become very obvious very quickly if that is not being cascaded through the supply chain. I think as well as that, Highways England also wants to have better awareness and a better working relationship with other members of the supply chain. It's as a capable owner and as we develop our client model going forward, for us to not have an understanding of the incredibly important organisations that deliver an awful lot of this work going forward, would be utterly remiss of us. And so, as well as I believe that the model will safeguard against that happening, or not happening if you will, I think as well as that there is an eagerness within Highways England to better understand its broader supply chain. And I think the mechanics and the working relationships through RDP, and it will also come later through other programmes as well, through the Alliance, etc., I think will bring that about quite naturally.
Hi Peter, Al Simonite from Advanced Consultancy. You mentioned an interesting phrase a couple of times, which is trust-based decision making.
Yeah.
As you move into this new environment, how do you see the role of the client in setting the right tone standard for those trust-based behaviours?
It is utterly essential to the success. If Highways England and if my team in particular do not set the tone and do not provide that leadership from day one as we mobilise this new contract, but beyond that as we deliver our programmes in the future, then it undermines everything. And rest assured, I don't underestimate how difficult that is actually, just simply because there are ingrained long-term ways of working, which I wouldn't be negative about as such, but I would recognise that they are ingrained and they are long-term. And so I don't think there is any naivety in our business as terms of what it's going to take within Highways England in order to work in this new way and in order to get the very best out of this new model that we've developed. As I said in the presentation, we've invested an awful lot into our people capability in the last few years, including the systems and the tools that those people need to do their job well. And that is absolutely set to continue over the next couple of years, and we will keep a very, very close eye on our own behaviours as much as we will be doing that with our supply chain partners as well. Because, of course, it is true that if we set the wrong tone, provide the wrong type of leadership at the beginning, then unfortunately, that will lead to things unravelling in the months and years ahead. So we are very, very mindful of that.
That's great. Thank you for a very very informative session. Can I ask you to show your appreciation for Peter's presentation?
Thank you. Thank you.
And please.